Let me tell you about two girls. They are both 16. They are both in the eyes of law too young for adult responsibilities. One walks into a welfare office and says, "I want to adopt a baby." And she's told, "You're too young. You're still a child." The other, pregnant and scared, walks into a clinic and says, "I can't do this." And she's told, "You have no choice." In Malaysia, you're too young to adopt, but you're old enough to be forced into motherhood. That is a law. That's cruelty. You may never face an unplanned pregnancy, but someone you love might. A sister, a friend, a daughter. This is not just a women's issue, it's a human issue. And silence, in this case, is not neutrality, it's complicity. I've read the laws. I've spoken to girls who felt abandoned by the system. I've seen how silence and stigma hurt more than any law ever could. And today, I'm standing here with both empathy and evidence. Abortion is already happening in Malaysia, but without safety, without dignity, and without legal protection. That must change. First, I'll explain how Malaysia's current law is failing women and doctors. Then, I'll show what a reformed, compassionate law could look like. Finally, I'll explain why this is about more than law. It's about saving lives, restoring dignity, and building a kinder society. Let's begin with what the law currently says and what that means for real people. Malaysia's abortion law, Section 312 of the Penal Code, was written in 1871. That is 150 years ago. Before women could vote, before we knew how to treat mental trauma or postpartum depression, before Malaysia even existed. Today, abortion is only legal if a registered doctor acting in good faith believes continuing the pregnancy would be a danger to the woman's life or her physical or mental health. But it doesn't mention rape, incest, underage girls, fetal abnormalities, emotional trauma, poverty, or social circumstances. There's also no clarity about when a legal abortion can happen. Not at 12 weeks, not 24, not ever. Even the doctors are confused. In a 2007 study by the Reproductive Rights Advocacy Alliance Malaysia, 43% of doctors didn't know what abortion is legal in any case. And 41% of women who had legal abortions didn't know the law protected them. Confusion creates fear. Fear creates silence. And silence leads to suffering. Let's talk about what that confusion looks like in real life. In 2014, a young migrant worker named Namala sought help from a licensed doctor, Dr. Nadasen Kanagaligam. She was only 6 weeks pregnant, and Dr. Kanagaligam acted in good faith as the law requires and provided a safe and legal termination. However, they were both arrested. Namala was charged under Section 315. And Dr. Kanagaligam, despite his experience, his ethics, and his care, was put on trial. His reputation dragged through the mud. Though they were later acquitted, their lives were already shattered. And this didn't stop there. Just last month, in May 2025, a 21-year-old Malaysian woman, Nora Zeti, was sentenced to 9 months in prison after taking abortion pills bought from TikTok. She was scared. She was alone. She felt like she had no options. And according to a report by Free Malaysia Today, a health think tank called the case a wake-up call and urged the government to finally recognize what's been true for decades. Our abortion laws are dangerously outdated. And let me be clear, criminalizing abortion doesn't stop abortion. It just makes it more dangerous. Numala and Nora Zeti didn't need a prison cell. They needed a clinic. They needed support. And if this law is not protecting people, what should take its place? We need a law that doesn't make survivors of trauma feel like criminals. We need a law that trusts doctors. We need a law that treats women like human beings. And we don't need to start from scratch. Other countries have already shown us the way forward. India has taken this step. In 2021, the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act was amended to allow abortions up to 24 weeks for rape survivors and unmarried women. South Africa allows abortion on request up to 12 weeks and up to 20 weeks in cases of trauma or health complications. Even Indonesia, a religiously conservative country, permits abortion up to 14 weeks in cases of rape or emergency. And we, Malaysia, can do the same. Our reform must define clear legal grounds: rape, incest, fetal abnormalities, mental health, and socio-economic reasons. Set timeframes, such as up to 20 or 24 weeks. Offer services through both public and private clinics. Protect doctors with written guidelines. And what happens when countries choose empathy instead of punishment? Reformation is a must. What's at stake? Women's lives, health, and trust in the medical system. According to the National Health and Morbidity Survey conducted in 2022, many Malaysian teenagers resort to unsafe abortions because of stigma and lack of access. The Ministry of Health confirmed in its 2024 Health Facts report that unsafe abortion complications remain a contributor to maternal hospitalization and even death. Reforming the law will reduce unsafe abortion practices, protect healthcare workers from criminal prosecution, empower women with informed, supported choices, and uphold Malaysia's commitment to health and human rights. We have a choice to make, and silence is no longer an option. We are not helpless. We are not voiceless. We can demand change. Malaysia's current abortion law is not protecting women. It is punishing them. It is endangering doctors. It is outdated and unjust. We've seen what reform could look like. We've seen how change could save lives and protect dignity. And we have the power to fix this. You don't need to be in parliament to make a difference. You can speak up. You can support those in need. And you can stand with organizations like Reproductive Rights Advocacy Alliance Malaysia. You can share facts. And you can demand our lawmakers reform Section 312. You can help create a society where survival is never treated like a crime. Because abortion is not murder. It is not shameful. It is not selfish. Abortion is a choice. And choice is survival. And survival should never be illegal. Thank you.